Hello everyone, and today I'm gonna do a worst to best video for one of my favorite bands of all time, the Foo Fighters. Few words before we get into the actual video is that the Foo Fighters right now, as we all know, are facing some serious problems. Taylor Hawkins passed away last March, I think it was. This means now that their future is we really don't know what the future holds for them. Hopefully David Grohl, as he did it once again with Nirvana, he will find the strength to continue with whatever he wants to continue. Of course, 20, 25, 30 years ago, with Nirvana there were different circumstances, but hopefully they will find a replacement and they will continue bringing us good music as they do all these years. I will start my worst to best video presenting you all the Foo Fighters records which I have except one in vinyl. I'm not gonna use any music, and I hope you enjoy. At number 10 we will see the Medicine at we have the Medicine at Midnight record, which is the apparently the only record I do not have in vinyl, not even in CD. It's by far my worst Foo Fighter record. It was released at early 2021 when the whole pandemic thing was at its infancy, I guess. And I don't really like this record. I don't like this record at all. I hate it, I have to say. It's a 3 out of 10 at best for me. The songwriting doesn't work. The songs they seem a little bit confused. It was produced, and it's the second record in a row produced by Craig Kirsten, which is Adele's producer. That is okay with me, but I'm not really okay with the way the record sounds and the songwriting, and also the excessive use of drum loops in some of the songs really disappoints me. The only thing I do remember, I will remember this record, is that it's the last record they did with Taylor Hawkins. Excuse me. And another thing is that the first single off of this record, Waiting on a War, I think it's a good song in the way it kind of reminds me, the way it builds up, especially in the end, kind of reminds me of New Way Home from the New Way Home track from The Colour and the same record. So now we will get to number 1 in my Foo Fighters list, which is this. This is the In Your Honor record. I gotta say it's a pretty solid record here. I like the cover. I really like the cover of this record. So in this record, what the Foo Fighters did was this. They decided to split things a bit and make actually a double record, although practically it was marketed as a single record. and they made two separate records combined into basically one record. The first record has all the heavy stuff. It's not really heavy, but it's heavier than the second part. It has all the classic Foo Fighters songs. The second record has ballads, more mid-tempo songs. Yeah, Cold Day in the Sun, it's a nice song. Taylor Hawkins is singing in this song. Friend of a Friend from the second record, from the acoustic stuff, is another nice song and goes back to the Nirvana days of David Grohl, because it was written back then for a project that he did. It was called Pocket Gods. Not exactly a project, some tracks that he recorded, and was released many years later. This record is their second record produced by Nick Koulianos. I don't know if I prefer it properly. I think it's the producer that really defined the Foo Fighters and helped them become what they really are and shaped their sound, and the record it sounds really well, and I think it's an uneven record. After all, I think the second part of the record, the acoustic stuff, is better than the first one. Of course, Best of You is here, a classic Foo Fighters song. No Way Back is a nice song and was released as a single and a video as well. What else can I say? Yeah, it's not so high in my list, but this is at number 9, Foo Fighters in Your Own. Before we get into number 8, I will show you here in vinyl the Skin and Bones record. All this acoustic thing, I mean, after the success of the In Your Honor record, they decided to bring it live and put on all this and present all this acoustic stuff live. Pat Smear, after many years, makes an appearance in this live record, released in 2006, whereas In Your Honor was released a year earlier in 2005. I have to say I don't really listen to this record, but I have to show it to you, and then we will move to number 8, which is Echoes, Silence, Patience and Grace. The record that, in my opinion, made the Foo Fighters what the Foo Fighters are today, a great live band, a great live experience. It starts off with this monstrous single, The Pretender, one of my favorite songs, especially when you hear it live. All these songs, not all the songs are on the same level as my Pretender. If they did, it would have been my best Foo Fighters record for sure. This is produced, and it's the second album produced by Gil Norton, the famous Pixies producer. After so many years, or after The Color and the Shape, we will see later in our list. So after so many years, they decided to use successfully, I think, the same producer. The record sounds well in my ears. The songwriting, I think, is not that good. It's not so good in all the songs. It's an uneven record. But I think it saved the Foo Fighters to become what they are today. I don't really like the cover of the album, but it's a classic Foo Fighters cover. Of course, it was released in 2007, and 1 year later they made 2 sold out Wembley shows, and this was really the point that the Foo Fighters became a monstrous household name that they are today. This is the moment that they become really successful, and this was the moment for me actually that in this record I started listening to them again. I became a fan again after many years. The opening track, The Pretender, is basically the reason, but looking back today to this record, I do think it's an even record. I like the fifth song, Come Alive, the way it builds up. The ballad of the Bacon Street Miners has its own story. It is written for some miners, I think, somewhere that basically requested this song when they had trouble doing whatever they did. Yes, this is at number 8, and let's move on to number 7. That we have One by One, the One by One record, a classic Foo Fighters record. I really love the cover of this record with the heart here. The back is great as well. It's simplistic, but it is nice. This record includes my favorite Foo Fighters song of all time, which is, of course, All My Life. It's a game changer, really, when you hear it live, as they have said themselves, whether they have a good show or a bad show. When they play this particular song, things get escalate, they get bigger and bigger. And I really like the song, the riffing of this song. I think it's one of the heaviest, if you can say something like that, one of the heaviest Foo Fighters record. The second track, Low, I really like it, and it has a classic, and later on they did a classic Foo Fighters video for Low with Jack Black. Times Like This is a very nice song, a classic Foo Fighters song as well. Halo, this is the first record with Nick Raskolines, famous producer that, as we said previously, I think he really shaped the sound. There is a story behind this record that we've seen in various documentaries, that prior to this record the Foo Fighters almost broke up. Dave Grohl went up to become Queen of the Stone Age drummer. He played live, he toured with Queens of the Stone Age for the very successful record of Queens of the Stone Age, which I don't remember now. There was a lot of tension between the members of the band. They nearly broke up prior to this record. They decided to release it after all, and they re-recorded some of the tracks, like All My Life. The cheaper re-recorded versions of the tracks were actually better than the more expensive versions, because this record cost them, as they have said, a lot of money. In the end, it's a very nice record, Foo Fighters record. I love All My Life, the song All My Life. And Brian May makes an appearance here, and it's their first record, as my notes here say, that was recorded on Pro Tools. So here are number 7, One by One. And at number 6, here we have Sonic Highways. The cover is great. I really like it with the CDs, and it is really a project record that they decided to roll all the United States. I mean some specific cities and record at a specific city with certain artists. This record has a lot of collaborations. I really like the track Outside. Joe Walsh from the Eagles plays guitar here. This record has, I think it has a good vibe, an emotional vibe, which we can see in tracks like I'm a River. It's the second record with the legendary producer of Nirvana's Nevermind, Butch Vig. A very successful record, really continued the success of Wasting Light, which we will see later on my list. It deserves to be at number 6. What else can we say about this record? When the record was released, TV series documentary was released as well, and this is Foo Fighters, Sonic Highways at number 6. After that, they continued with the Saint Cecilia EP, and it's not actually a full record. Without saying more about this EP, I'm just gonna show it to you. The opening track, Saint Cecilia, is a decent track. Nothing else to say about this. And we will move on to number 5 and to the Concrete and Gold album, which we can easily see, we can identify this record from its cover. It has the gold, all the gold and all the concrete we need. When I first heard the Run single, I couldn't believe that in 2017 the Foo Fighters released such a heavy and groovy and well-written and such a great song and well-inspired song, which basically reminded me of the old days, of the vibe of the first record and the Color of the Shape record. I couldn't believe that they released such a nice track as Run. If the other records, because it's an uneven record, some of the previous Foo Fighters record, if the other tracks were as well as the Run track, it would have been a different story. But the record, the first one with producer Craig Kirsting, is a really solid one. The second single, The Sky is a Neighborhood, is a great song as well. There are some collaborations here. Justin Timberlake brings his vocals to one of the songs. The song Arrows is a very nice song. Sunday Rain, The Line. There are some fillers, okay, but after all, a very solid record album. At number 5, Concrete and Gold. And at number 4, we can all see it. We have their third record, at number 4, Nothing Left to Lose. Here we can see the classic cover with Dave Grohl's new The Time tattoo that he did. In this record, they make a turn to more laid back songs, to less heavier songs than in the first two records. It's the first record with drummer Taylor Hawkins, and they recorded it as a 3-piece. It's a softer record, but has some great Foo Fighters songs. First and foremost, Learn to Fly, Stacked Actors is here, Breakout is here, Generator. The record sounds great, the songs are good, the songwriting is good, even though it isn't as heavy as the first two records. I like the way it sounds. I remember that back then seeing the Learn to Fly video. After this record, they did a huge US tour with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and helped them gain a lot of popularity in the United States. As I said before, they recorded it as a 3-piece because their guitar player at the time, Franz Stahl, was basically fired from the band, so they decided to record it at a 3-piece. It was recorded at the basement, Dave Grohl's basement actually, by Adam Kasper, which is known for his work with Soundgarden. Yeah, they get a little bit softer here, but I think it's a solid record. And we will move on to number 3. And at number 3 we will find the first record, the eponymous record, recorded as basically as a 1-piece. It's a 1-piece band in here. It's Dave Grohl by himself. I think the only other person that plays here, except for Dave Grohl, is Greg Dulli from the Afghan Wings. He contributes some of his guitar work to one of the songs. But it's a great record. It has great story. I mean, the songwriting here is good. All the tracks are good. The way it sounds, it's very heavy. It's very in your face for a band like the Foo Fighters, which is not the heavier band in the world. But we gotta think that this was 1995. David Grohl wanted something to do after Nirvana was disbanded. He wanted something to do with his music and his career, so he recorded this by himself. He put it out with the name, a strange name at the time, Foo Fighters, and the rest is history, I guess. I like the track I'll Stick Around, which is the first track of the record. It was produced by producer Barrett Jones. It has all the songs have a punk, sort of a punk feeling. I especially like For All the Cows song, but it's a great record and a very important record for the Foo Fighters. And at number 2, we will travel to 2011 to the Wasting Light record with a great cover here. I think it's great, the color's great. This deserves to be so high in my list, deserves to be in number 2. I think it's sort of a Nirvana reunion here. It's the first work with legendary Nirvana producer Butch Vig. Chris Novoselic of Nirvana makes an appearance here. And Pat Smear, of course, and Dave Grohl, which were both at Nirvana. I really love the record. It's not an uneven Foo Fighters record. One of the Foo Fighters, I have to say that this is not an uneven Foo Fighters record. All the songs in this record are great. The first 6 songs are basically a flawless victory. And when you have a record start with Bridge Burning, then Rope, then Dear Rosemary, then White Limo, a very heavy and groovy track, Arlandia and These Days, you know this is a great record. But basically there are no fillers in this record. They switched to recording it to analog in this record, and they recorded it in analog instead of Pro Tools, which was a very brave thing to do at the time. It was recorded at Dave Grohl's residence, basically at a remote studio, not on Pro Tools, by Butch Vig. In the end, the record sounds great, the songwriting is great, the riffing is here, all the great songs are here, all the great choruses are here, all the great elements that make Foo Fighters what they really are and what we love are here. It could be number 1 on anyone's list, it's number 2 at my list. Wasting Light. And at number 1, their second record, The Color and the Shape, which I have here, both in vinyl and in CD. What can we say about this record? It's perfection. I once read that the only not so good thing about this record is its cover. I totally disagree. This album has no flaws. The cover is great. The color pattern is great. It's memorable. It's a classic Foo Fighters record. The songwriting is great. The riffing is here. The grooving is here. All the great songs are here, one after another after another. Dave Grohl doesn't play all the instruments here as he did on the first record, but he did most of the drumming because William Goldsmith, the original drummer, wasn't happy with. In fact, Dave Grohl was not happy with William Goldsmith's drumming. He decided to re-record most of the drum tracks here. William was not very happy about it. He decided to leave the Foo Fighters, but the outcome is really impressive and stands the test of time because the drum tracks are great in this record. Everlong is here. It's not my best Foo Fighters record, my best Foo Fighters song. I know that it's a very special song for every Foo Fighter fan. Not for me. I could listen to it. I like it. I really like it. I like the singles here, but I mostly like all the non-singles in this album, like the song Hey Johnny Park or My Poor Brain or Up in Arms. Enough Space is a great song with a great vibe that is meant to be played live. As David Grohl has said in the Back and Forth documentary, came up with this idea when he decided that they need a song to play live, a song that will make the crowd bounce up and down, and came up with the basic idea for this track. It's the first record produced by Gil Norton, known for, as we said before, his work with the Pixies. And it deserves to be at number one. So thank you for watching, and let's hope that everyone is safe and that the Foo Fighters will continue to do what they do. So thank you very much.